Hello everyone and welcome. And a few words for introduction to this meditation, where for these last few months now we've been doing Satipatthana, the practices for establishing awareness. And the Buddha calls these practices, the practices of cultivating awareness, to be a heap, a mountain of wholesomeness, of skillfulness. He says that the 5 hindrances, which are one of the things that we've looked at in these weeks, is a heap of unwholesomeness, unskillfulness. And this idea that mindfulness and what we're cultivating here is what's skillful, what's wholesome, what's nourishing, what's healthy, serves as a very useful guide for how to practice mindfulness, how to evoke and bring forth a clearer and clearer awareness of the present moment. We do it in a way that is skillful, wholesome, that feels healthy, feels like welcoming for us to do. To chase after meditation out of greed, to use meditation to try to get rid of something we don't like, that's using mindfulness according to the 5 hindrances, which just brings unskillfulness, it brings poor results. So as you practice this practice of mindfulness, one of the things to be attentive to is the quality of your practice, the way in which you practice. Is it open-handed? Is it open-hearted? Is it open-minded to what is here? Open-handed meaning you're just here to experience what is here in a generous way. Open-hearted means that your care, your kindness is available. You're caring for yourself in this approach. And open-minded means you're available for whatever the experience is. You're willing to be present for things without expectation, without agendas, just present. And maybe we take it on faith initially that this is, for the Buddha, this is one of the most healthy, skillful things, psychologically, spiritually healthy things a person can do, is to be bringing forth this clarity of awareness to the present moment. And I think part of the reason it's considered so healthy, so skillful, is that it's a magnet for so many other good qualities. It's almost as if awareness, clear awareness of the present, is making open space for in which other skillful states, other wholesome ways of being can surface and come into it. And that open space holds at bay or doesn't make room for, it doesn't really help the hindrances thrive. The hindrances thrive when we're not paying attention, when we're not creating that open space, where we don't have clear awareness. So in all these ways of talking, the word open is emphasized. Open-handed, open-hearted, open-minded, open space. So may, as you sit today, you be attentive and careful that the way in which you practice, how you bring forth present moment awareness, has a good feeling for you. And it's a kind of way of being a friend to yourself, perhaps, or just that other people would be attracted to you in the goodness and the clarity, the simplicity of being, of how you are with your experience. So other things come. So to begin, maybe caring for yourself by your posture you take. Maybe taking the time so your body feels that you're attending to it and caring for it. A posture that, the best of your ability, seems like a good posture for meditation, for your body to be in. And gently closing your eyes, and maybe with the eyes closed, before meditating, just to let your attention roam around your body with an open awareness of this is how it is. This is how it's feeling now. Being careful with how you attend, how your awareness can just be with yourself for a few moments here. Maybe just to discover, to be receptive, to recognize how your body is, and maybe how you are, in an open-handed, open-hearted, open-minded way. And gently a little deeper breathing than usual, so that when you exhale, maybe you exhale with a little bit of relief, relaxation. Here, now. A gentle, little deeper breath than usual. Maybe with the inhale, infusing awareness with more clarity, more openness. Awareness becomes a little more expansive or receptive. And on the exhale, the awareness rides along with the exhale. Letting your breathing return to normal. And any time your mind wanders off and it's time to begin again with your breathing in the present moment, see if you can make the beginning be enjoyable or pleasant, friendly. And as you stay with the breathing or stay with your experience, stay with it in some manner, simple, relaxed manner that is friendly or feels healthy, so that it feels you have the feeling, oh, this is good to hang out with this kind of awareness here and now. And whatever you're aware of, body, feelings, mind states, thoughts, reactions, how you're aware is important. Remember to be aware in an open way. Where awareness is an opening. Awareness opens itself. As we come to the end of the sitting, to consider what you know about being aware, being attentive in an open way, without expectations or demands, without pulling away or wanting something, just aware, open-handed, open-minded, open-hearted. Almost like as you're aware, you're making space, making room, and to think about doing this for other people that you encounter. How in being aware of them, a little bit, not too much, a little bit's like you're making room for them. Space. You're with them in an open-handed, open-hearted, open-minded way. And if you're not, can you be aware of that? And in being aware of it, can you try to open up a little bit? Open, clear awareness of others. What would it be like to be with others this way? And it is as healthy, wholesome to apply what we learn about attention in meditation to how we can attend kindly to others. To be aware of others without the hindrances getting in the way. May, through this practice that we do, may we support the possibility for all beings to be happy, for all beings to be safe, for all beings to be peaceful, for all beings to be free. So we've gone through for these last 4 months the 4 foundations for awareness, for awakening awareness. And these 4 awarenesses, 4 areas of developing awareness, they can work together, cooperatively, support each other. And they make a very interesting perspective, very useful perspective for us to bring to our lives. So often when we pay attention, give attention, take in, perceive the world around us or the world inside of us. It's all too easy to do it with preconceived ideas, preconceived agendas, um, being oriented to certain areas, certain things that we think are important. And not to automatically dismiss those, even if it's a useful way to look at things the way you look at things. Sometimes it can be useful to find a new way for a fresh perspective, for our perspective, for our perception of the world, ourselves. And so these four foundations, four areas, are kind of interesting to keep them in mind. Use these perspectives when looking at our life. So, if, for example, some people might be oriented towards what's in it for me? What is it? What am I going to get out of this experience? In Satipatthana Sutta, we wouldn't do that. Instead, we would say, what is the physical experience here? What's the feeling tone that's here? What's the mind state that's present? And what's the Dhammas? What are these processes of being caught or being free that are playing out as I practice here? It could be that when we look at the world, we look at the world through what we don't like, what frightens us or what's unpleasant for us, and we react to that from that point of view. And but instead of that, we can ask this: how does it physically? How is it feeling tone? How is it mind states? How is it with the Dhammas? It could be there's a lot of self-orientation going on. Instead of that, we do the four foundations. So these are like going through the scales. We can ask ourselves, given what's happening now, maybe let's look at them from these vantage points. These are the four vantage points that the Buddha offers for the path to awakening, to freedom, a path to everything that's wholesome or skillful, a heap of skillfulness, heap of wholesomeness. For the Buddha, this is phenomenally healthy and beneficial to cultivate this kind of awareness. And so in the vehicle he does this, or the medium, is not through orientations that are about me, myself, and mine. Of course it's about you in a certain way, but that's not the orientation with which we're looking and analyzing, understanding the situation. Rather, he's saying, for the purposes of cultivating this open awareness that's liberating, that's freeing, healthy and wonderful, notice how it is in your body. Notice your body. Notice the feeling tones of how it's taken in and registered as pleasant, unpleasant, or neither. Notice the qualities of the mind, the state of the mind. Is it contracted? Is it expansive? Is it filled with intense desire or intense aversion? Or is it not? Does the mind feel caught? Does the mind feel free? And those categories have no self in them. It's not like saying, am I caught? Am I filled with greed? Am I aversive? Am I contracted? None of the instructions in the Satipatthana involve the perspective of me, myself, and I. It can be such a relief. It can be a challenge because of how common it is to have that perspective. But to put it aside or evoke a different perspective. The advantage of that is the perspective of looking at things from the point of view of me, myself, and mine, what's in it for me, and how am I being seen, and what's good for me, and how I am, is that's a magnet for all kinds of unskillful, unhealthy attitude, states of mind, situations. It tends to, one way or the other, it tends to close the space inside of us, around us. It tends to reduce the open-handedness, the open-heartedness, the open-mindedness. And so instead of going that direction, like, what's happening to me, how am I doing, how are people treating me, what's going on here for me, and How, am I improving? Am I getting better? Am I getting worse? I'm a meditation failure. All these things you can say with the word I or me. Um, See if you can put them aside and bring into play a different perspective, the four foundations. And so what you've learned about mindfulness of the body, um, you know, there's all these things we talked about. Um, Go back and read some of the exercises. So, or listen to some of these talks about mindfulness of the body and cultivate this greater connection to the body. It is you, but you don't have to think about it being you. Of course, this is who you're paying attention to. You're paying attention to your body. You're paying attention to yourself. But it's extra to put that idea, to operate, to analyze, to react to the situation from this idea of me, myself, and mine, especially when we're meditating. So just the body, the simplicity of it, the feeling tones, the mind states, the dhammas. And then the orientation also is not to get anything of it or understand or analyze situation, but to begin tuning in, waking up to the changing nature of experience, the flow of present moment experience, the river of life that goes through, and things are always changing, always moving. And to do it from the perspective of these four foundations. And so there's also a different perspective, the perspective of change, things coming and going. And to do that with an open-hearted, open-minded way. And this is a very helpful way to loosen the grip of attachments, to just rest or float or just to keep opening to the flow of change, the flow of experience that's only available or best available when we're centered in awareness in these direct experience of body, feelings, mind states, and the dhammas. Let it all just flow, teaching us how not to cling, not to grasp. The five hindrances are forms of grasping, forms of clinging, that diminish the freedom, that diminish the clarity in which we can see things, and for the Buddha, diminish our wisdom. When you're caught in the five hindrances, bring forth the four foundations. When you're caught in a hindrance, how is that in the body? What's the feeling tone of it? What are the mind states that are there? And then just be really present for each hindrance in and of itself as it comes and goes, letting go of it. And this referencing back then through the four foundations applies also to the way in which we practice, the way that we meditate. And from time to time, it's good to go through these steps, the scales, the four foundation scales, and to see in relationship to how you're practicing, how you're being mindful, how you're meditating. How does it feel in your body? How you're doing it? Are you straining? Is it tightening up? Are you resisting? Are you sluggish? Are you collapsing? Are you kind of draining in your body because you're not really in it? What's happening in your body? What's happening with feeling tones? What's the feeling tone of how you're practicing, of how you're doing mindful? Is it pleasant or unpleasant? Is it something that feels good to do or not? What is the mind state with which you're doing mindfulness? Is the mind state with greed or aversion or delusion? Is the mind state expansive? Or is it liberating? Or is it settled? What's the mind state? And then in the way that you practice, the five areas of the fourth foundation are the hindrances at play, even subtly. Are we entangled, knotted up in anything? Are we caught in identity, me, myself, and mine, around the five aggregates? Or are the 7 factors of awakening kind of peeking their head up as we're practicing? Are they kind of nearby or potentially nearby? Are they creating the space where those wonderful factors can begin to grow? And in the how we're paying attention, are we seeing in a way that allows us to see the Four Noble Truths, which is another way of saying seeing the changing nature of things. So so to bringing these together, these 4 foundations, and when we sit down to meditate, different times we might choose one of the foundations more than another foundation, because that seems to be the salient one. It seems like the good one with which to develop awareness. I find it's really useful to come back to breathing over and over again. The very first exercise. Stay in the body, I find to be really useful. And then the other ones as needed, as is helpful. And sometimes I'll go through the 4. Just, okay, how's it this area? How's it here? In relationship to whatever is happening in the moment. So this is a way of bringing the 4 foundations together and cooperating them, and how they are mutually supportive of each other, and how this works as a whole, the unified whole. There's a unified way, bringing together all these practices for the purposes of open awareness, open-hearted, open-minded, open-handed attention to ourselves and the world. So thank you.